Hello, hello! This time I decided to revisit what is one of actually my favorite premium ships, the Loyang. I have done a hydroacoustic guide, I've done a normal commentary for this, and then I've done a hydroacoustic guide for this ship. But something that still seems to go quite unused, that I honestly see quite often, is people seem to be very averse to using the guns on this ship. Now, just because it has one less gun than the Benson doesn't mean that these guns are in any way weak. They are in fact a important part of the kit. I mean, I feel like the very slow arcs of the shells are kind of misleading because it makes people believe that these are these are weak guns that you can only use to set additional fires, and the short range and basically lazy arcs and the low velocity makes people underappreciate them a lot and not understand just how potent these guns can be and just how much of a strength these guns can be. So today I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately, that's why I haven't been posting a lot of vids. But today I read there's a X3 bonus thing going on, so I decided to go get my daily wins on a couple of ships that need a bit of extra grinding, like this Loyang. I kinda always wanna level up this captain. I got a 16-point captain on the Loyang now, and I quite enjoy playing this ship in general. Of course, one of my major gripes is that I tend to get standard battles quite often when I play the Loyang, and this is naturally a ship that absolutely excels at domination type gameplay. It's significantly stronger in domination than it is in standard battles because it's a excellent DD knife fighter, meaning it's very good at taking on other DDs. You saw there, by the way, I shot torps in front of that guy. That was only because he fully stopped. If he had even had a slight bit of speed, I wouldn't have shot those. He did accelerate after fully stopping though, but there was no risk of my torps hitting anyway. If you see someone moving, like if that guy had been moving, I wouldn't have fired his torps because, first of all, I would have been restricting his movement, even if he would have been, of course, he would have been able to avoid them. But if you're forcing friendlies to avoid your torps, then you're launching your torps far too riskily, because if the enemy happens to be doing something at the same time that forces him to avoid a maneuver, and you're restricting his movement, you're basically fucking him over, even if your torps aren't necessarily hitting. And that's something a lot of people seem to overlook, the fact that you are zoning friendlies out. Now my predictive torps landed one, I think, on the Cleveland, one on something else, not sure what. It might have been the Hatsuharu, because I was expecting him to move, basically turn around and sail away. So I think it's likely that I hit the Hatsuharu sailing away. And since this ship is actually very, very good at torping DDs, simply because it launches so many torps, it launches 10 at a time, 2 5 spreads. You can make this very, very thick blanket when you arrange them slightly on top of each other. Makes it very hard to dodge between the torps and almost always forces them to eat one, which is very, very strong. The torps are slow, yes. I'm still using the long range one. I'm only gonna use the short range ones when ranked starts, since I intend to play Loyang in ranked, since that's constant domination gameplay and a lot of knife fighting and such, and I think it'll be quite a fun ship to play in ranked, regardless of how frustrated I usually get with ranked. Once again, going real close to this, launching these torps at 6.8 kilometer range about. Then I'm turning away so I don't get spotted. Basically as close as possible. The closer you are, the higher the likelihood of your torps landing. But I'm not to talk about torps here. I'm not here to talk about the torps. I'm here to talk about the guns. Now, first, I'll start off with HE. Basically, because he's a slight bit angled, and Pensacola armor is, when you're angled, it's decent. When you're giving broadside, it's paper. So I'm just spamming HE at this point, see if I can get some fires. I'm obviously calling target on him as well. I have that bound to my mouse right click, so I can easily do that. So basically I want a lot of people to focus him. My torps all hit the Atago, 5 hits. Because of, once again, I made that thick blanket I spoke of. The Atago had no chance of avoiding it. He tried to turn away, it was too late, he got deleted. But here you see, he's giving me broadside, so I switched to AP. And this is where you start to see the really big numbers pop up. 4.5k in a volley, like what? I'm sorry, weren't you a DD? 3 citadels, what just happened? The gun power, especially when fighting cruisers, is very, very significant. And the AP, I feel, is basically guns are bread and butter part of the ship. It's also the fact that you can much more confidently smoke up and start shooting someone, and even if you lose vision, you are not necessarily screwed, because once again you have hydroacoustic surge, which I have often shown that can be used for a lot more than just dodging torps. In this case, I was obviously you can use it for when someone closes in on your smoke. You know a cruiser is about to rush you, and you don't have vision. You can use hydroacoustic to give yourself vision. So offensive smokes are very, very strong on the Luoyang, especially on the Luoyang. Someone is raging in chat. Someone is raging about fucking shit. I have no idea. It's the Benson. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he's super salty for some reason. I'm basically just been playing to win, of course. As you can see, I went to Cap C, then I went to Cap B, and I'm going to Cap A, and on the way I've basically been killing anything that comes my way. Once again, switching to AP, because this is Nuremberg, thinly armored, giving broadside. Smoking. No, I don't have actually smoke, so I just angle myself. I notice I don't have a smoke. As steep of an angle as I can get. That was a 5k bullet. That was another, what, 5.5k bullet, I think. And he's dead. How fast was that? 5 citadels, bam, dead. The cruiser barely had time to blink. I of course angled myself away to make myself a harder target to hit. And that's another, of course, fantastic part of the Luoyang is the firing angles. I actually don't think I've touched upon them before, but you can easily angle your ship very steeply away and towards enemy ships while still keeping all of your guns to bear. I think that the Benson isn't quite as good as this simply because it has that 5th turret in the middle, and if I remember correctly, the firing arcs on that 5th turret weren't the best. So basically by fighting with very steep angles, you're in essence compensating for that small lack of firepower that you're missing, that the Benson has in advantage over you. So of course, as long as the no guns are pointed at me, I have no issues giving full broadside. Makes it an easier shot to make for me when I don't have to compensate for constantly moving away in distance or constantly closing in distance. You constantly have to compensate a bit when you fire like that. Once again, a Nuremberg. I have a smoke, but I have no need to use it. I did use a hydroacoustic surge, you might have seen there, and that was simply because I was fighting a Nuremberg, because obviously it has torps, so I didn't want to risk eating some random blind torps by accident, so I used hydro for my own safety, because why not? Once again, he's turning his attention to me, I can see his guns turning towards me, so I start angling away, as I spoke of earlier. Shot me right in the broadside with AP, so that doesn't matter. And I'm angling away. You see that steep angle I'm taking? Constantly creating distance, firing backwards. Okay, quite a lot of kills have been stolen from me this game, as you might have noticed. That was, what, 3rd kill still taken from me or something. But whatever, I'm not here to show you a Kraken, I'm here to show you just how much work you can do with these guns and how much you can supplement the general playstyle of the Luoyang with the guns. And it doesn't always matter that you're detected, because it's a very agile ship, it's a fairly small ship, much like the Benson. As long as you keep as long as you're keeping yourself angled and making yourself a hard target, changing course and so forth, you might see that I'm basically doing the snake-like maneuver, I'm wiggling back and forth and basically just being unpredictable, and in that way avoiding any sort of focus on me. I just noticed that this happens to be recording my, I actually have my setup accidentally recording my voice or my background sounds, so you might be hearing my mouse clicking. I know you can hold down mouse 1, but I prefer to shoot volleys. The difference between shooting volleys and basically shooting a continuous stream is that you can zoom out in between without losing firepower and give yourself a better vision of the fire field in front of you. Anyway, that was the end of this. This is X3 weekend, of course, so hence why I got 17,000 XP, because it's this bonus thing going on. So it's of course very good, very nice first win of the day. Base XP, not that special, 2.8k, but the damage, you can see, half of my damage is from guns. Half torpedoes, half guns, and I feel like that damage dispersion very well displays the power of the Luoyang.